lot of times if you wouldn't have been our dad, we'd have quit before you had a chance to fire us. Believe me.
Whoa, baby. You don't feel nothing in this game.
Just
Decide for yourself. Who is your favorite swamp person on the show, now or past?
Jacob Landry.
And why? Oh, he's so biased. He's so biased. Thank you, Jacob.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Jacob Landry never set out to become a television star. When Swamp People began airing over a decade ago, the show wasn't about fame or flash. It was about real people trying to make an honest living in one of the most unpredictable environments in America, the Louisiana swamps. Among the cast of seasoned hunters, it was Jacob's father, Troy Landry, who first grabbed the spotlight with his booming voice and fearless nature. But viewers quickly noticed something else, a quiet, steady presence beside him. Jacob didn't clamor for attention. He didn't try to act for the cameras or exaggerate his role. He just worked focused, calm, and precise. Week after week, he manned the boat, set the lines, pulled in massive gators, and spoke with a sincerity that struck a chord with viewers across the country. What made Jacob stand out wasn't some dramatic storyline. It was the fact that he seemed like someone you already knew. A brother, a neighbor, a best friend. He didn't perform, just showed up, did the job, and respected the land he worked on. But behind that calm surface, behind the scenes of the show, millions have come to love. Jacob was living a different kind of story, one not filled with drama in the traditional sense, but one of quiet struggle, heavy responsibility, and the burden that comes with suddenly living life under a spotlight he never asked for. When the cameras weren't rolling, Jacob's life was anything but glamorous. The swamp isn't just a filming location, it's his home. Surviving there means dealing with things the average person couldn't begin to understand. There's the heat, thick and choking, that settles in your lungs like fog. There are insects that bite and sting and cling to your skin for hours. The water may look still on camera, but it hides powerful currents, submerged trees, and predators whose jaws can snap bones in seconds. For most people, that environment would be overwhelming. But Jacob grew up in it. He learned from his father not just how to hunt, but how to respect the swamp, how to read the signs in the wind, in the water, in the way birds scatter. He learned to be patient, to stay calm, even when the situation turned dangerous. But as Swamp People gained popularity and production teams moved in with lights, cameras, and schedules, Jacob found himself living two lives, one in the quiet of nature, and one in the manufactured pace of television. Long filming hours, repeated takes, and direction from people who didn't understand the rhythm of the swamp began to clash with his instincts. And yet he stayed. He stayed because the show was helping his family. It was preserving a way of life. And because, at his core, Jacob is someone who doesn't run from responsibility. But the weight of constantly living under scrutiny, fans, critics, producers, slowly started taking its toll. For someone who values privacy as deeply as Jacob does, becoming a public figure came with emotional consequences that no one warned him about. His every move, both on and off camera, started to be watched. People had opinions about the way he parented, the way he spoke, the choices he made, not just in the swamp, but in life. Social media amplified it all. While many fans were kind, supportive, and even loving, there were always those few who crossed the line, demanding access to personal details, showing up uninvited, and judging him by moments edited together for TV. The pressure to always represent Swamp People with grace and strength became a quiet burden he carried daily. And yet, you never heard him complain. Instead, he poured himself into the work. He doubled down on family, leaned into the lessons his father taught him, and tried to shield his loved ones from the noise of fame. But when you spend years holding it all together, keeping up appearances, filming grueling episodes, battling dangerous wildlife, and trying to be a good father and husband, it's only a matter of time before the emotional weight catches up with you. While there hasn't been a headline-making tragedy in Jacob's life, the real heartbreak lies in watching someone so genuine quietly suffer from the very thing that brought them into our homes each week. The spotlight, one of the most touching, and, in some ways, Saddest parts of Jacob's story is how fiercely he protects his family. His wife Lindsay rarely appears on camera. Their sons, Ridge and Kays, are mostly kept out of the public eye. That's intentional. Jacob knows what fame can do, and he refuses to let it reshape the world his kids grow up in. While other reality stars chase influence and social media likes, Jacob does the opposite. He retreats, not out of fear but out of love. He wants his children to grow up with the same lessons he learned in the swamp: how to be patient, how to respect the land, how to listen more than you speak. The swamp for him is more than just a job, it's a teacher. Every splash, every storm, every sunrise brings a lesson. And he wants to pass those on, not just through words, but through lived experience. That kind of parenting takes energy, though. Kind of quiet, consistent strength that doesn't make headlines, but builds character over time. And yet, in keeping his family out of the limelight, Jacob has also made sacrifices. People misunderstand him. They think he's cold or distant, when in reality, he's just trying to give his loved ones a life that's real, grounded, and safe. That struggle to balance fame with authenticity, to provide while protecting, to smile for the cameras while guarding your heart, is the kind of emotional labor that too often goes unnoticed. What many viewers don't realize is that the tragedy in Jacob Landry's life isn't a single event. It's the accumulation of emotional strain, of years spent in dual worlds, of watching something you love, your culture, your community, get reshaped by media for entertainment. The swamp is changing. The pressures of tourism, environmental shifts, and yes, even reality television have begun to affect the land itself. For a man like Jacob, who was raised to respect and protect the swamp, this slow transformation is painful. It's like watching your childhood home be remodeled by strangers. And yet he stays, because for all its difficulties, swamp people still gives him a chance to tell the story his way. To show the world what the swamp truly is, not a backdrop for drama, but a place of tradition, balance, and deep, quiet wisdom. Jacob's continued presence on the show is more than just a paycheck. It's a form of resistance, a way to say, this is who we really are. And that, in many ways, is what makes his story so heartbreaking and so beautiful. He's a man who never asked to be a hero, but became one just by being himself. And in today's world of loud personalities and viral moments, that kind of authenticity is rare. It's what keeps fans coming back, not for spectacle, but for sincerity. So when we talk about Jacob Landry's heartbreak, we're not talking about a moment of tears on camera or a tragedy splashed across tabloids. We're talking about something deeper, the quiet sorrow of a man trying to hold on to his roots while the world around him changes. A man who wakes up before dawn, climbs into a boat surrounded by mist, and teaches his sons the same way his father taught him. A man who smiles for fans at meet and greets, but goes home to a dinner table where phones are put away and stories are shared. A man who could have chosen fame, but instead chose family. Jacob Landry isn't the kind of reality star who makes headlines every week. He's not chasing drama. He's chasing something far more meaningful, a way of life worth preserving. And in doing so, he's shown us all that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it's found in silence, in still water, in the soft voice of a father teaching his child how to read the wind. That's the kind of strength that doesn't fade with time. It only grows deeper. And that's the real legacy Jacob Landry is building, one quiet, honest day at a time. Jacob Landry promised early on that he would keep his feet on the ground, no matter how much attention swamp people brought into his life. His focus has always been simple and true. Do good work, love his family, and protect the swamp that raised him. While fame often changes people, Jacob made it clear from the beginning that the spotlight would never define him. Some people thrive on being seen, but Jacob finds joy in the quiet corners of life. He cherishes the laughter of his sons, the calm of an evening with his wife Lindsay, and the kind of warmth that only family can bring. To Jacob, success isn't measured in dollars or screen time. It's in the values you live by, the relationships you nurture, and the way you show up for your loved ones. He's raising his children not to be celebrities, but to be good, honest people who understand the importance of hard work, humility, and kindness. Jacob's bond with his father, Troy Landry, remains unshakable, though he's now a father himself. Jacob still looks to Troy not just for hunting advice, but for wisdom on how to be a strong, present man. They've spent years side by side in the swamp, trading not just techniques, but deep conversations about life, duty, and legacy. Jacob wants to pass that same connection down to his own boys. Like any family, the Landrys have faced challenges, but their strength lies in their loyalty to one another. Through every high and low, they stick together, helping each other weather whatever storms may come. While the world outside races ahead, Jacob finds peace in the stillness of family dinners, in lessons shared out on the water, and in the laughter that echoes through his home. For him, simplicity doesn't mean giving up on dreams. It means holding tightly to what really matters and letting the rest go. Over time, Jacob has built a life that walks the line between television, fame, and quiet fulfillment. He blends old traditions with new possibilities, chasing growth without ever forgetting where he came from. Though his life has evolved, he's held firm to the values learned in the swamp: respect for nature, its devotion to family, and a love of hard, honest work. Fame never mattered to him as much as family did. Whether his sons one day follow him into the swamp or choose entirely different paths, Jacob's hope is the same: to raise strong, compassionate young men. The kind who lead with integrity and make their mark through quiet courage, not loud headlines. Through every decision and small action, Jacob keeps the Landry family spirit alive. Still, fans began to notice his absence. As each new season of Swamp People aired, Jacob appeared less and less. For longtime viewers, his reduced presence sparked curiosity and concern. Had Jacob stepped away for good? Was something wrong? Answer, though not dramatic, speaks to the very core of who Jacob is. He didn't walk away from the show in bitterness or burnout. He simply chose a different path, one that brought him closer to the land he loves and the people who matter most. Jacob still lives in his hometown of Pier Part, Louisiana, where the bayous run deep and traditions stretch back generations. While he may no longer be a regular on camera, his connection to the swamp remains as strong as ever. After years of long filming schedules and the emotional toll of living half on screen, he decided it was time to shift focus. Time to invest in a life that fed his soul, not just his career. Above all, Jacob has always put family first. In 2015, fans were surprised to see Jacob try something completely new: a low-budget horror film titled Paranormal Extremes: Text Messages from the Dead. It wasn't a grab for Hollywood fame. Jacob wasn't chasing awards or headlines. He just wanted to stretch himself, to experiment, to see the world beyond what he'd known. In the film, he took a small acting role and even helped direct parts of the project. The movie didn't become a breakout success, but it gave fans a glimpse into Jacob's creativity and his willingness to grow. 2 years earlier, in 2013, he made an appearance on the Queen Latifah show, offering a rare interview away from the gators and the boats. Calm and grounded, Jacob spoke about his childhood, his values, and how he navigated the unexpected world of TV fame. It wasn't a flashy, overproduced appearance. It was just Jacob, humble, reflective, and true to form. Today, Jacob focuses his energy on swamp tours and conservation efforts. He leads visitors into the heart of the wetlands, giving them a hands-on experience of alligator hunting and swamp life. But it's about more than just excitement. These tours are a way for Jacob to tell the real story about a land that feeds people, shapes character, and deserves protection. When guests meet Jacob, they don't get a celebrity act. They meet a man who's straightforward and generous. With his knowledge, he talks about how families like his have lived in harmony with nature for generations. How the swamp taught him patience, strength, and humility. His goal isn't just to entertain, it's to inspire respect for the delicate ecosystem he calls home. Jacob is more than a guide. Now he's a voice for the swamp itself. He collaborates with local groups to protect Louisiana's wetlands from erosion, pollution, and climate change. These aren't just distant threats. They're real dangers that could wipe out the culture and landscape he loves. Jacob explains that hunting, when done responsibly, plays a critical role in preserving the swamp's balance. It's not about sport, but sustainability. He emphasizes that every trap set, every gator caught, is part of a larger tradition, one built on knowledge, responsibility, and deep-rooted care. Though his appearances on Swamp People have become less frequent, Jacob still returns from time to time, often during key seasons or for special episodes. Each time it feels like an old friend coming back for a visit. Fans welcome him warmly, grateful for even a brief chance to reconnect. Jacob continues to share glimpses of his life through social media, posting serene photos of the swamp, heartfelt family moments, or snapshots from the hunt. He doesn't overshare. He doesn't perform. He just shows what's real, and in doing so, reminds fans why they connected with him in the first place. Looking ahead, Jacob wants to do more than preserve the swamp for himself. He dreams of teaching young people about its value, its history, and its fragile future. Whether through school visits, community outreach, or mentoring the next generation, he hopes to spread a deeper respect for the land he calls home. He knows not everyone grows up like he did, but he believes anyone can learn to listen to nature's quiet wisdom. For Jacob, this mission isn't about building a fan base. It's about legacy, about handing down the values of stewardship, humility, and love for the earth, especially to his own children. In the end, Jacob Landry may not appear on every episode, but his presence is still deeply felt. Through his actions, his words, and the life he's chosen to lead, he continues to shape the story of the swamp. He may not seek attention, but the quiet strength he brings is exactly what makes him unforgettable.